Well, hello, Internet. Tonight, we will
Bravo!
be visited by 3 ghosts.
Technically four.
Chris,
Technically
yeah,
four.
4? Yes, 4. Definitely 4. Don't forget the 2 under the cape.
So yeah, 6.
How you going, Shieldwall?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy to be here. This is a great movie to review here. I think the lessons that you should the lessons it teaches about life and you know Christmas and that kind of stuff is pretty good. And I would recommend showing it to your children as soon as you think they're ready to see it. Um, it's that good, and it's timeless, and it's a classic. And yeah, I don't really. I think it's one of the better holiday movies, personally.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm happy to be here. Uh, hey, Canoli's here. What's up, man?
Hey, there's Cannoli.
Better than most
Beard.
of the
Ha-
stuff they put out nowadays.
That's
yeah,
true.
definitely. Beard, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. I've donned a little bit of Christmas spirit. It's kind of flashy.
I see
You know, that being matching. Well, it's matching in the way that like sometimes opposite colors match. So you got my curmudgeonly personality and festive hat.
Yeah.
But I don't know if my Christmas spirit can quite hold out. It's not that cold here yet, and I'm starting to sweat, so it may come off
Okay.
here in a little while.
Yeah. Well, you got the beard for it. That's for sure.
Yeah,
The
better
beard
throw
can go
some
with
like
the hat.
baby powder or something in there.
Just like we just see a pod. Oh, baby powder.
It just from off screen, just poof.
That's funny.
What's up there, Mando? How you going?
Doing well, just chilling, hanging out, doing the streaming thing, and yeah, I keep forgetting that it is the Christmas season sometimes because like as one who worked in retail for a long time and also like very much active in Christmassy type things for a long time, very much oh that's right, the big man's supposed to be coming into town. Okay, very nice. Okay. Maybe that makes me a Grinch or a Scrooge, but I mean, if you have the Christmas spirit in you all year round, do you really need to celebrate a special time of the year?
Right.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Are you talking about eggnog? Is that what you're talking about?
Sure, we'll go with that one.
You put rum in your eggnog, don't you?
That's the only way to really drink it.
Right.
It might cook the egg in it, though.
Yeah, that's why you got to drink it fast. You got to shoot it, put it in there, and down it. Exactly.
Mhm.
Minna knows. She plays enough pirate games.
Oh, yep. You take the rum and you just yep. That's all you need.
Yep. Yeah,
And
I'll
that's
take
why the rum's
the
always
egg
gone.
the rum with the eggnog. Hold the eggnog.
yeah, exactly. You got to shotgun it like it's one of Sassy Sasquatch's Trulies.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, this movie, they took Patton and A Christmas Carol and shoved them together.
Actually, I would pay to
Dang.
see that movie.
Right.
Yes,
That would be great.
definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and he's such a great actor too. To play that role.
He is.
I definitely like will always say like in this movie, and granted, like I said, this is probably one of my most like my favorite renditions. Just the acting in it all around, like I wouldn't recommend like young children to watch it because it can be kind of creepy, like that, especially those little small little starving children is a little creepy. And so it
Want
just
and what was it?
It was
greed.
ignorance, ignorance, and
Ignorance and want.
yeah, and yeah.
Ah.
Yes.
I think it also might depend on the version that you saw or read or whatever.
It's been a while since I've read
I
the
don't
book.
think the older
Reminds me,
versions have
I should
that.
actually try and reread the Christmas Carol. I don't think I
Actually,
have it.
this this movie is closest to the book.
Also, probably why I like it so much.
Wanted George to wear the the nightgown thing and the hat and slippers, and he's like, I'm not wearing that in the wintertime in England. So he wears pants and everything. So it's the closest to the book I read. So I read. But yeah. So yeah, we got a bunch of people in chat already. Got Zombie Bucks reviews is in here.
What up, zombie?
Up there. Got Mrs. Sassy.
Mrs. Sassy.
Got Canori. What up there? And be careful.
What up?
We have a vampire in the chat. What up there? Nas?
Whatever shall we do with the vampire? Not like we haven't watched all of the vampire movies and understand how they work.
Yeah. Eyes Wide Shut is a Christmas movie. Okay. I've only seen that movie once, and I don't remember much from it.
I've only seen part of that movie a few times.
I think I went to see it after I'd worked like a 12-hour shift or something, so I wasn't really. My brain wasn't all there.
I've heard of that movie. I haven't watched it. What now? Goop.
The brain was goop.
Oh, I thought you were talking about what's her name's business called Goop.
No.
Yeah.
Let's not touch that with a 10-foot pole.
So we start off in the streets of jolly old England.
Oh, jolly. Yes, this is a jolly place to be in the middle of the blizzard.
Yeah, this time of year, this time of time period too.
With people
very
dumping
jolly.
all of their excrement in the middle of the road. Like, it's just a fabulous
workhouses
setting.
Workhouses. Well, depending on when this actually is supposed to take place, they've already built the London sewer at that point. That was in the 1850s is when they built it. And that really cut down on like cholera and all kinds of different diseases and stuff by a large margin. But yeah, you could still get black lung simply just walking around.
43. So
okay, yeah. So it hadn't been built yet. So you're right. It's still a disgusting and vile place.
We have the poor little children singing for money.
Alms for the poor.
Yes, this is the same era as "Please, sir, may I have another?
May I have some more?
Yeah,
some more, please."
Yeah, the musical one. Boy for sale.
Yep. When children worked, just like everyone else. Go back to those days.
Yes.
Ungrateful little urchins.
Get out of the way. So yeah, this was cool too. This like driving this cart of holly through the street. Holly for sale. They sold a lot of things.
It would be even funnier if there was like a small child like named Holly. It's like Holly for sale. I'm kidding.
That's
I'm kidding
that's Monty Python you're thinking of.
Have you seen? That reminds me. Have you seen anybody in recent memory that you have like seen roasted chestnuts anywhere? Like they even do that anymore?
I think
no.
Maybe some Amish. I know where my dad lives. There's like a relatively large Amish community, and I think they roast chestnuts over an open fire. I don't even think children knows what that is anymore nowadays.
Oh, in the Southwest, they roast chilies in like this cylindrical thing with gas fire, and it's really good. The smell of that is amazing, like Hatch green chilies and stuff.
Yeah.
Try
that on a burger.
Try that on almost anything.
Yeah,
it makes it better. That and bacon.
So yeah, and we got the bad guy from Tron in this movie.
Oh,
The
what's his name? He just died recently, didn't he? Like in the last year or two.
I love this.
Really?
Cratchit is going to put more coal
Yeah,
on
the
the
guy that
fire.
plays the master cylinder in Tron. The He's
Yeah.
a
Oh,
CEO and the guy that's all in red. What's his name? He's in a bunch of other stuff too. Really good actor.
Yeah, he's in everything.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's one of those that you forget some, like all of the things that he's in. He's in so many.
And there's Mr. Old Grump himself.
Yup.
He's like,
You want to know something that's kind of funny? Every time I've seen this,
what?
like as I've gotten older, I'm like, my father kind of looks similar to that. Like, huh? I wonder. Maybe that's why I don't like Christmas. My
What?
father
David
is
Warner. David
screwed.
Warner is his name.
David Warner. That's right.
Yeah.
And he also played the bad guy in the Time Bandits too.
Yes, he died in 2022 in July.
Oh wow.
He was 80.
Really?
Yeah, he was
Oh.
also many or several characters in various Star Trek franchises.
Oh, he was the guy in one of my favorite Star Trek episodes where he captures Picard. He's the Cardassian, and he's
Oh
Yeah.
trying to
yeah.
tell him
Right.
there are
Yeah,
only
he's
4
a
lights behind him.
Cardassian. Yeah, he's also a
There are 5
Klingon in
lights.
one of the movies and a different character in one of the other movies. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Right. Yeah, he's trying to get Picard to say that there are 5 lights when there are only 4.
one of the best episodes.
Yes, it really intense
Yeah.
acting. I don't know where all that writing and acting went with the newer Star Trek, because they're not even anywhere close to that. I know I'm getting a little off
Yeah.
topic, but man, and also that whole 4 lights thing is very relevant to everything we see today.
Well,
in
also like
media
it
and
comes
everything.
directly out of like a scene in 1984.
Yep,
right?
1984. Yes.
Okay, I was like, because
exactly.
I read a lot of the dystopian novels like recently at the same time, and I'm like, which one is that from? But yeah, there's a scene in 1984 where like you have to say something you know is false until you believe it's true.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And yeah, wow, very relevant for today.
I
But
love
anyway, yeah.
I love this part. He gets after Cratchit. Cratchit! He's like, don't put any more coal on that fire. And he like says, what am I wearing here? I've got a shirt and a waistcoat and jacket. These things were invented by humans to keep us warm.
In a way, I kind of some of the stuff that Scrooge talks about, like this right here, I kind of agree with him. You know,
Yeah,
like
I do kind of identify with certain parts of
Parts of-
pre-Revelation Scrooge, like this one here. I'll leave the heater off. I'll put a jacket on and a hoodie, and just this place
Well,
is
I'm
drafty. The heat's not going to stay inside.
Like I'm naturally like kind of warm natured, so like we generally, and my husband's same way, we generally keep our house like 69 70 degrees, like maybe, and we sleep it, like we turn it down to 64 when we go to sleep. So like,
well, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
if it's a a northern bred dog, don't put it outside. Yeah, it's got fur. That's
it
what
wants to be in the snow.
exactly. That's
If you've
that's
seen
why
a
it has
husky, it tries to bury
Yeah.
itself in the
that's why it
snow.
has fur, exactly. But just the point,
Yeah.
now could he be a little more judicious with the coal? But he doesn't need to be. He set the limit,
Yeah.
and that's what he's got to do. The other thing is, it's not like he's telling Cratchit to work and he's bouncing off somewhere to the club.
Mm-hmm.
He's right there
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah,
He is also rich though.
That is
you
true.
don't
Well,
get
a
rich by
little
spending
more.
money.
exactly, and you
No,
can't
no.
have a character growth journey moment without not having something to make
But
up.
The
thing
whole
is,
plot of the story can't happen.
he's like a dragon that accumulates all this wealth and just sits on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
Well,
what's
true.
wrong with that?
Yeah.
No, there's nothing wrong with
I
that.
don't
Just
see a problem.
he's
Well, the
This
only
is how
problem is the
society has
dwarves that
screwed
eventually
us
come
over.
after you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, George played Patton. Yes, he did. Yep.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
said, I would like to see him as Scrooge, but he's actually Patton from the movie.
It's
That'd be
got to
great.
exist somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't. I always miss this. What is his actual business that he runs?
If
Well,
I
he
remember,
buys and sells. So
It's like an
he actually
import-export
goes to
guy,
like
or
a yeah, he goes to the like the money or the place where they trade stuff. And he's trying to sell corn. So I
He's
think
like a goods
he
broker.
buys stuff and
yeah,
sells it.
he's like a trader of like goods
Yeah, he's
and
like the
commodities and stuff.
middleman. Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
it
either
is
Roman.
vague. It's kind of as similar to was it George Costanza just saying that he's an importer exporter and never expounds on it.
right?
Yeah, I think the
Right.
book
Yeah.
in particular is just he's a commodities trader or something.
I know. Isn't there a scene where
Vanderlei
he runs into
Industries.
some guys that are looking for money from him, and he's like at some kind of stock exchange or something? I thought
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I,
think
it,
somebody
yeah.
owes
Yeah.
him money, and
Okay.
he tells someone to go search them out and get the money from them.
So then his nephew comes in. Merry Christmas. Humbug.
Merry Christmas.
Looking
And
at
then
this
he's
scene, I'm just wondering where he keeps his wand at.
yeah.
Is he got an office down on Diagon Alley?
I mean, it looks like
Exact. Well,
it's
this is
someplace from
exactly
Diagon
the
Alley.
time period that that Harry Potter's motif or whatever is taken from. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
goes through medieval, but this is primarily this like 1840s, 1850s is what everybody's dressed like, what they look like, what the houses look like, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he says here, I think everybody that goes around with Christmas on their lips should be boiled in their own pudding. And
Mm.
Now that's a little harsh or not aggressive. That's a little aggressive.
When I was a kid, I was like, when I saw this, I was like, why boiled pudding? I was like, it just comes in a cup, right?
different kind of pudding.
Yeah, it's a different kind of pudding. I didn't
Different
realize
kind
till
of pudding.
much later that you put it in a cloth and then boil it
Right.
in a pot.
In a ceramic thing.
Yeah,
In a pot. Oh, they're good. It's good.
Which which I really like bread pudding. I know that's kind of country, but I like it.
Yeah.
Look at this dude's hair.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now this is his nephew.
His
or
nephew,
something?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's Doctor Who hair right there.
Yep, exactly. He's getting ready to pull out a sonic screwdriver and then be told that he's not good enough because he's a man.
That's right, because he's a man, and man can't do nothing.
He wouldn't understand it.
Then the War Doctor comes in and blasts them into oblivion.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, man, I really miss the War Doctor right now.
But yeah,
So-
the sets and the costuming for this movie are,
yeah.
are just top notch.
I mean, yeah. Even though that some of it is, it's kind of a weird way that I noticed this about halfway through it, watching it today. It's a weird combination of shot kind of classic cinematography filmmaking styles, but then a lot of the scenes, like a lot of the back and forths, are really locked down, and they're almost done like stage plays.
Exactly. Yes. When
Mhm.
he was,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
guy's face was next to him. It reminded me of a 70s Doctor Who episode, which is shot in a stage manner, like with
And-
sets and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Well, almost
this
like
is-
you're watching it from the stage. Yeah.
Agreed, absolutely. I think, and this is the reason why I was telling them backstage, like when I was in college, my church would do a production. They based it off of this because it was the most like a stage production out of the movies that they wanted to do, and so like absolutely, like
Right.
it's very much a stage play production type feel.
Yep. So he's like, don't close a minute soon. Or
Well, isn't that just like the boss? You got to stay till the clock runs out, but I'm gone now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's got other stuff to do. It'd be different if, he's going to go down to the market or whatever. Oh,
Yeah, he's
there's
actually going to be collecting on some debt.
There's Tiny Tim, and he's like, "Don't beg on this corner."
Not begging, I'm waiting for my father. He kind of laughs and says, "Well, you're going to be waiting a while."
Right? That poor boy, like he's waiting in like a blizzard.
They never really state what's wrong with Tiny Tim, right?
I think most
No.
people would agree he has some sort of malaria. No, not malaria.
Well, he's got like
No.
some kind of like food deficiency, like rickets or something.
something.
Something like that.
Yeah. Huh.
I'd never really given it much thought.
Yeah.
His elbow boost is like these kids are singing, "Out of the road."
Some people say a combination of rickets and tuberculosis.
Oh, well, if he's got
Mm.
That
tuberculosis,
would
he's
be
pretty well
rough.
screwed.
Yeah.
Rickets you can
especially back
fix.
then.
You can fix rickets with a balanced diet.
But
Right.
yeah, there's a lot of back and forth
Which
on that. But that's
it
at least one of
might
them.
be rickets, because at the end here, he's like, says he's going to help his family in whatever way he can and stuff.
Yeah.
Why so much Tiny Tim hate zombie bots? I mean, I get the urge. It's like you're playing GTA 5 or something, and there's a person walking by on the street on a cell phone. You just want to run over and uppercut them, but just because you can, you know.
Intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, that's later in the.
So yeah,
movie,
these
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, these guys are wanting to buy his corn that he has. He's like, "Oh, you should have bought it yesterday. It's more expensive today."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that, Ricky. Yeah, like scurvy, but different. It's but anyway, I think it's
scurvy can come on you pretty quick.
Yeah.
So it
It's
might be
basically
something like rickets.
a malnourished.
Right, but it's
Right.
caused by vitamin deficiency
Right.
from only eating like the same kind of only eating wheat all the time
Yeah,
with no
only eating
vegetables or
porridge. More
Yeah.
porridge.
That's why they put lime in the on sailing ships. They put lime in the rum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you lime juice for the There's a lot of other vegetables and fruits out there that can give you vitamin C as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think cabbage has vitamin C in it. So
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these guys want a
Yeah.
donation from him,
Oh, this is my favorite part.
and one of them is Alfred. There he is, Alfred.
Yep. Yeah, I like just how like dismissive Ebenezer is here. He's like, are the prisons, are the workhouses there? Are the poorhouses?
Exactly. He's
like,
Mhm.
my
exactly.
taxes
He's
go
like,
to all this.
I paid my taxes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, what more do you want? And I get, that you should, a rich guy should open your purse or whatever, but he's not wrong. You know,
Except for the
you're
prison
paying all
part.
this
The
stuff
prison
out.
part I always had a problem with. Everything else, I'm like, I mean, he's got a point. There are things that are in place that are supposed to help these people. It is not his fault that they are not.
Yeah,
being
there
helped.
are, but they're terrible. They're not
Yeah.
good places. They're, if they were run properly, yeah, but they separate families, and so you never see your kids again.
Yeah,
The kids go to one workplace, your wife goes to another. So it's
They I remember seeing a story about like people coming to America and then like there's stories, but this one guy, he was in Ireland, he came to America, he couldn't make it in America, he went back and he wound up not being able to work because he got hurt or something. He was going to have to go to the workhouse, so he just offed himself instead of going to the workhouse because that's how bad they were.
I mean, that just drives home the point where that one guy says that, well, yeah, they're working, but some people would rather die than go to there. And then he just, Ebenezer just turns around and
decrease
says,
the
well, then
surplus
let them die.
population.
Right,
Uh-huh.
exactly. Decrease that surplus population. Yep. And the other thing is that back then they also had a debtor's prison. So if you got into
Mhm.
debt and you couldn't pay it,
Oh,
they
yeah.
would make you work it off in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Or just put you in jail.
Well,
Yeah.
where you
yeah,
couldn't work it off.
yeah,
Is weird. It's like doesn't make any sense.
right.
Hey, there's been times in my life where I looked at my credit and thought, you know what? I'd rather just work this off than try to pay it. Can somebody just, I don't know, I'll go smash rocks.
Right?
Part two.
Well, that's why you have bankruptcy and stuff like that now. But
Yeah. And now he can go retrieve his
You've been
frozen
waiting out here
child,
the whole time.
His
the
frozen half
Timsicle.
dead child.
it's Tim.
It's a Timsicle and it's already got a stick.
Right. Oh my god. We're horrible humans. We're horrible.
What's crazy about like these buildings and stuff is like how old they are. Like they're probably filming this with the original buildings that they would have been like walking around in if they were
Yeah,
really
probably.
there.
Mhm.
That's what's so crazy about being in a place like England or even back east in certain eastern states in America, even the Southwest too, is that you can find buildings that are still functional that are hundreds of years old. Like if you go to Santa Fe, there's still buildings there that in Santa Fe, New Mexico, that you can go to that are from like the 1610s, which is about as old as you can get in America for a European building. But in England, you can go to pubs that have been around since like the 1300s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same, yeah, it's crazy. Japan's the same way.
It's kind of heartbreaking
Well-
that the fun that this kid wants to have is go watch other kids have fun.
This
Yeah,
scene here
poor
is
Tiny
funny.
Tim.
The ice they're sliding on, you can see it ripple underneath their feet.
That was like a plastic sheet or
It's just
something.
plastic sheeting underneath there.
Yeah.
It's
This-
still fun.
see, this
I
is
mean,
when
if I
OSHA
was an
was
extra
starting to
on this
come
set,
in,
I'd
so-
have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back in the day, they just would have put water down,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
What a kid though to get joy out of watching other kids play.
Well, it's
His
kind of like
eternal optimism.
it's like watching.
But
It was
what-
like the Twitch of its time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
watching.
just thinking
other
about
people.
like how much of a nice person Tiny Tim is. Just like,
Mhm.
oh, my heart, my little heart. Which is what they want the audience to feel when
Yeah.
like seeing Tiny Tim is just he's such
And-
a pure soul.
They got a good actor for it.
Yeah, they did. Okay, what about this hearse? They show
I like
here.
the lighting and
It's
on
all
this.
white.
Oh, it's so good.
Here comes your future funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Zombie Bros.
Oh. I like this part where he's going to open his door and the ghost.
The ghost of his
like,
former partner. Molly? That's you?
"Oh, Jacob Molly.
I mean, it could be. Very well could be.
I mean, I'm not exactly easily made afraid of a lot of things, but if I saw that on the door knocker to my front door, I think when I went inside, I would go ahead and fork over the extra money to light more than one single candle in my dark house.
Doesn't
Yeah.
he say something like, "I must have ate something bad"?
Yeah.
Well, that comes
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's probably the same mindset of, oh, I'm hallucinating.
He works so hard,
Yeah.
maybe he just is hallucinating all the time.
Maybe. He's just like, yeah, I see Jacob everywhere, don't you?
Or you had that bread with that weird mold that grows on it that makes you all crazy and stuff.
Yeah. It's weird.
I don't even know how to respond
He
to
doesn't
RJ
have
right
any.
Yeah,
He
English is
doesn't
a
even
crazy
have any
language.
house, like servants or anything.
Didn't he have a cleaning lady or something?
He has a
I
cleaning
think
lady, but
yeah, I think that's it. Like he doesn't have any other servants because
Yeah, he's too cheap, right? Yeah, he doesn't
yeah.
have a
Well,
cook or a butler
does
or
he?
nothing.
Because later on, when like the bell starts to ring, it's covered in cobwebs, which makes me think it's
Yeah.
hasn't
Not a
been
very
used
good
for
housekeeper.
years.
Well, maybe he only pays her enough to clean certain rooms,
Probably.
or he tells her don't go in there or whatever. No, but yeah,
Yeah, I wonder. I was wondering what kind of soup this was.
it's a porridge.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, just some wheat and maybe if
Might
he
even
since he's so rich, maybe a pinch of salt and then
porridge.
water.
I'm trying to think what they call it. It's called like a pottage or something, where it's just like vegetables and whatever. You leave it on the stove all day. It's kind of like an old crock
Yeah.
pot thing,
Mhm.
and like a lot of in medieval times or whatever, especially, that's what you do. You just make this pot in the morning, and then everybody would eat out of it all day. That'd be like
Mhm.
their lunch and stuff, and it'd all be the same thing.
Yeah.
Salt was an
So,
amazing
I
discovery.
wondered what happened to the soup bowl. It's like there's a ghost, comes into your room and you're like, ah, but
I
he
mean, it
just
looks to
sets
be
the soup down.
clay.
No, that's a thing of the Last Supper, right?
Looks like.
Yes.
Yeah, and is that on his fireplace? Because I think that's where you would see tiles in there,
Mhm.
unless he's like
Yeah.
literally sitting in his kitchen. Which, if
No,
you were a
he's
big enough house, the kitchen was a whole separate room.
I don't know.
yeah, his bed is over to his left.
Like I said,
Probably
so
just
it
a
could just be a
sitting area.
fireplace in his room, yeah, in his like bedroom.
Yeah. That's kind of that's always been my thought process. Is it's technically in his room or like a sitting area within his room proper.
But I think that by showing that he only lives in one room in his entire house, basically, how lonely he is and like cut off from the rest of the world.
Now this would be Patton saying, "Those damn hippies."
Yeah.
Bro.
You're not wrong, Jay.
What's up, Jay?
Hey, how's it going inside the booth?
What up,
What
what up?
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
His locked door just opens, I think. And there he is. No.
Is that the face that he's making, Zombie Boxes, when he finds out Epstein Island flight list release? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this is one of those things that really feels like a stage play.
Mhm.
And I can appreciate the fact that they wanted to have them face to face, not have to do like the double exposure to keep the transparency up on Marley the entire time. Just lean into it.
I like when he unties the thing around his chin, and his
Right, so he can
jaw
speak.
just.
Yeah, I think they did that when they back then so that the mouth wouldn't open up in the coffin.
Mhm.
Right.
I think it's also like a ward against vampires or something. I don't know. Or that's the stake in the heart. Never mind.
Yeah.
Getting my lore confused.
I've always wanted to see somebody, make all these chain boxes walk around for Halloween.
If it was real chain, that'd be a burden to carry.
That'd be
heavy.
Real heavy. So that thing on his left, or on his right shoulder, but on our left, that's actually a lock. That's just a very extreme one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's got money boxes hanging from it.
It's supposed to represent all of his wealth that he
He's
had
like,
in his life.
you could just be a undigested potato.
Samwise would have an issue with that. Don't you hate on the mighty potato?
So I like the explanation that he has that, like, the destiny of a man's spirit is to walk the world and interact with everybody. But if he doesn't do it in life, he's cursed to do it forever in death. Really
Before
like
they
that.
invented the big clocks.
Yeah. And he
Really
can't,
sort of a Flavor Flav.
but he can't interact with him. He just witnesses what could be, what he could have done, and
all while dragging the chains around that he let keep him away from everybody else.
Yeah. He's like, you will be visited by 3 spirits.
Technically 5,
Christmas
but 3
past.
main spirits.
Yeah.
I like how
Christmas
Ebenezer's also kind of like, just like, I think I'd rather not.
Right?
I think I'd rather not.
He has the same reaction most of us. It's like, I'd rather not if that's all the same to you.
And he's like, can I just have all 3 at once? To just come all at the same time?
I too am an undigested potato.
He's like, I think I would rather not.
I don't want to.
Too bad.
You don't get to decide.
I need some bicarbonate. Get rid of these ghosts. Yeah, I like what he says too. This like, one will come at 1 a.m. and the second will come at 2, and the third will come whenever he feels like it, or something.
Right? It's like the third one will just come when he dang well wants to. Well, okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I do kind of like just his inability to accept this. Like, he dismisses it, and then he's kind of yelled at by Marley, and so he's like, okay, this is a ghost talking to me, and he's like, okay, we're gonna sit down and have a conversation with the ghost. And then as soon as he disappears, he goes back to just like, I was nothing.
Right? He's just like, I'm seeing things. I know I'm seeing things, and this cannot be real. So, toodaloo.
Yeah, whether the tying that around his mouth was done for funerary purposes back in the day or not, I kind of like look at it as this is his one time that he is permitted to interact
and speak.
Yeah. That for everywhere else he goes, he is completely banned from communicating.
Jay, sorry, Marley, my appointment calendar is full until next year.
Yes, you cannot see me at the moment. I'm sorry. I know you have urgent business, but it has to wait.
He's like, man, I'm really losing it. I'm gonna go to bed.
Right. I feel like most of us would have the same reaction, though. It's like, I'm seeing things. Let's go to bed.
And the bell rings, and he's like, there's nothing here.
Did it show the clock when the ghost first came in? Was it like 9 or something at night?
Well, it shows the clock bell, and the bell goes off.
No, but I mean before this. Like, so he goes to bed and kind of like laughs it off and goes to sleep for a little while, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice if it showed the time when he went to bed.
I think it did.
But a couple hours have passed since that guy.
Right.
Yeah. So now it's 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Whoosh.
Yeah, and the first thing he says to her, could you put that thimble over your head? You're too bright.
It was a nice little touch from the distant shot. It looks like she's holding it up, and then it cuts to this.
Right.
And then she just moves her hand away and it stays there. I mean, it's a very simple effect. It's literally just hanging by thread, but
Yeah.
it's a nice little touch.
Mm-hmm. And she's like,
The 80s
no, it's
hairstyle,
the light
though.
of truth.
Is it always a woman in all the iterations? Because I seem to
I
remember it being a
think
man
so.
before, like a angelic looking dude.
Well, the dude in this one is Ghost of Christmas Present, but I think
Right.
sometimes in the Ghost of Christmas Past, has it been portrayed by a...
I can't remember.
Me
Yeah,
neither.
she definitely has 80s hair for sure.
Oh yeah. Looks like a rock video. So she takes him back in time to 1886. Ah,
Actually, I think it's the
Happy time.
1820s in the book is where she takes him to.
okay. I was just being like joke, like
Yeah.
Back to the Future, 1986. So he takes him back to his school.
Yep.
And he's all by himself.
Very lonely, sad boy.
But he has Alibaba.
He's got his stories, his books.
Yeah. And it's all because his mother died in childbirth. And his father doesn't like him because of that.
Yep, his
Sad.
father blames him, which is sad, but that's a very realistic thing that happens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Complications with birth. Yep. You had women spitting 10, 12 kids out too.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, just real quick, apparently the spirit is referred to as it by Charles Dickens, so it's never defined as male or female.
Ooh, he was very progressive then.
Yeah, that cartoon that Scrooge was voiced by Jim Carrey, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like a little sprite or something. Like,
oh yeah. Like a little cherub or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So this is what
it's like a little fairy or something that I'm seeing in the illustration.
Jumped ahead a little bit.
Yeah,
like
so his
sister.
His sister comes to get him.
Did y'all see who his sister was?
I mean, her name. On screen, yes, but I don't think I looked at her name. She's Fan, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't recognize.
Okay.
But I also am like the one here that doesn't watch too many movies. So
I watched a lot of British TV growing up. So.
Oh, okay.
That's probably it. It's like, father's not a lot nicer than he used to be.
Then why didn't he send for me?
Yeah.
Young
Scrooge, and look,
I guess,
and when it shows him, he looks like a witch. Got like a little, almost a pointy hat.
Yeah, that's just a style of hat from back
then.
Yeah,
I know.
Young,
as was the style at the time.
Yeah, but young Ebenezer, he doesn't look too bad.
Oh yeah, he was a good-looking young guy.
This is the real kick in the nuts when he comes out and realizes his father doesn't really want him to come home. He just wants to send him away someplace different.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think 3 days is enough.
His poor sister.
He might have been nice to her. Possibly.
Probably. That's usually how it goes. One, like the father or parent will be nice to one sibling, but not the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job with the casting of getting like multi generations and ages of not only of a similar character, but also of his father.
Yeah. Is it R2?
Which one? The ghost, or
The
the
sister.
sister?
I looked it up. It is Joanne Whaley, Whalley, that plays Fran.
Oh, this old guy. What's his name? What, Fezziwig?
Fezziwig, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, stop working. It's time for the office Christmas party. Get
Party
out your
time.
potluck.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, these are the things that he should have done in his life that he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
That
What's the spirit say? Like he comments on like it's weird because he's like remembering this fondly and smiling, but then switches back to his grumpy state. And like she says something like, "Why you don't dance anymore?" And he said, "Ah, it's a waste of time." She said, "You didn't used to think so," or something like that.
yeah.
Well, that goes to getting older and living through life. There's a lot of things that used to seem fun or important or, okay to do when you were younger. But as you get older and get responsibilities, you realize that that's not maybe the best investment of your time.
Yeah,
Well,
Um,
also he had a
some of
pretty
his
lady
flash.
to dance with at the time.
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And now, you've let so much time lapse and you're so old, kind of, you know, you're set in your ways, that kind of thing. What's the point?
Yeah, I won't go into my details, but there are some things in his flashbacks that hit home real hard.
Why are you an angry old goot?
I don't know. I love. I'm sorry. I have to bring up Scrooged because the first ghost he meets is hilarious. It's hilarious. Is it the first? No, it's this. Is it the first ghost he meets? The girl that kind of looks like a fairy.
I think so.
I think so.
Are you talking
She
about the
comes up and
animation or the movie?
no Scrooge, the Bill Murray movie.
Oh, right.
She just comes up and punches him in the face.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that movie.
You're not.
No, it's okay, but I'd rather watch this.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I'm in love." And then he just, goes into his, you know, making money is more important.
Is apparently they basically established a contract that they were going to be wed one day, but then he became married to his work instead.
Yeah. She's like, "Go have your life. Goodbye."
Yeah, she gives him that question. It's like she basically says, "I've got no dowry. I've got nothing to bring to this. Got no money. If we hadn't made this agreement, would you still be here?" And his answer is like basically like, "How could you ask me that?" or something along those lines. And she's like, "Oh, what a perfectly safe and annoying answer."
Yeah.
It's like it's the non-answer.
It looks like he dodged a bullet then. I'm kidding.
Then he shows him the family that he could have had.
Oh yeah.
Man, that would just kick you right in the gut, wouldn't it?
Especially the part where, because this is the very recent past, because his partner is what, like on death's door,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
he hadn't died yet. And what a weird thing to kind of bring up to your wife's like, oh yeah, remember that old crotchety dude you used to know? I saw him at work. He's still terrible.
She's like, oh, I feel sorry for him.
That's a really weird looking snowman.
To answer your question, yes, I went to go like drop kick Tiny
That's
Tim.
a lady snowman. Okay.
Yeah. Has it got
That's a lady snowman.
Is that a sword?
I don't know.
It's got a sword arm? That's pretty cool.
Problem?
It's like
That
an
or a cane.
Inquisition snowman.
Yeah.
Snowman, it's a snowman of their dad, and that's the switch he gets whenever they get in trouble.
That's the real way to make a snowman.
Yeah, her husband's like making fun of him, and she's like, I feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
Because she knew what he was, used to be like before the money. He got greedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to realize you're like on the receiving end of like pity, it's almost worse than being on the receiving end of hate sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I love how it shows him. He grabs the thimble and forces it over the truth.
Mm-hmm.
She's like,
the truth is the light.
The truth. He's still digesting.
1 a.m. Even though I ate my food like probably 5 hours ago, I'm still digesting.
Yeah, what do y'all think of this next ghost? He's like
the next ghost, just like George of the Jungle, like just jolly giant. Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Hey, he's
Father
got like
Christmas.
a Santa Claus robe on
yeah.
with no shirt underneath.
Right. He's like the hip Father Christmas, like,
Yep.
yeah.
Look
man.
at all the food he's got and all the plenty and everything.
Yeah, he's letting that chest fur hang out.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Although his beer's not as good
Santa
as
Claus in the
Beer
80s,
Liberty's
y'all.
beer, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
up there. It's pretty good.
He's like, oh my. He's got a lot of chest hair.
Because at that moment, he's like, huh, am I straight?
Yeah, and the guy's like on stilts.
Mm-hmm.
So he's taller. He's got a torch. Is that a torch?
Mm-hmm.
You know, my modern brain sometimes, even recently when I rewatched this, I looked at that scene. I thought, boy, it's weird that everybody's just out and about on Christmas morning. Wait, no, they're literally buying the food they need to cook for the day because they can't keep it overnight, so necessarily keep it fresh. So this would have to happen.
Yeah. Back then, you went to the market daily.
Yeah,
or almost daily. For
yeah.
what you needed, and you just bought the amount that you needed for that day.
Yep.
If you live in a city,
isn't that a concept? Buying what you need for the day.
Also, I think his torch is supposed to represent the torch of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forget what the scene said. Something about meat.
And the torch of knowledge is supposed to represent the fire that Prometheus gave humans against the will of the gods.
Zeus. Yeah, against Zeus's direct order.
Yep. Or Vulcan, whichever one you want to use.
I like their Greek names. Excuse you. Not their Roman names.
But the planet Vulcan is named after it.
Mars is also considered Aries. I don't care.
Yeah. This guy looks like he just had a couple of pints.
Couple.
I mean, he is the ghost of Christmas presents, so like,
Yeah.
Hey, Salty.
what's up, Salty? I saw your thing on Twitter. Congratulations. Woo.
Yes,
A
congratulations.
delicious peppermint humbug.
Delicious peppermint humbug.
So
What is
good.
that filled with? Scrooge?
This is why we don't take you out in public.
I know what you're talking about. Cork King's awesome.
Besides,
Yeah, I know.
Gord King can't be seen in public with the peasants. It's
That's right.
a ride in a carriage.
He rides in his giant
Yep,
pumpkin carriage.
Exactly.
So yeah, so they visit Cratchit's house. This kid's
And
like, I'm eating food. It's not
I-
done
I-
yet.
I'm
You'll
definitely
have
that guy.
ghosts this later if you don't let it cook longer.
I always was and still am that guy. Like family Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner. It's like, hey, are things ready yet? Not yet. Well, I'm gonna try this one. Start grazing through things that are waiting to go out to the table. Just like, I'm just testing it.
I'm just making sure it tastes good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you had to back then because you didn't know if like something was undercooked or
So here's a question:
overcooked.
Oh,
deviled
yeah.
eggs or no deviled eggs for Christmas?
I don't like deviled eggs.
You don't
That's
like
just
deviled
me.
eggs?
I
You
don't.
don't- What?
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 I like eggs in
know.
basically every form, so I don't, sure.
Yeah.
I like eggs most any other time. I just don't like them deviled. I don't know why. I just
I like deviled eggs. They're good.
Yeah, they're
Even just some salt and pepper on a hard boiled egg is good.
People would
Oh wait, that's what he says, but Jay says deviled eggs are the turds of Satan.
I agree, Jay. I agree. Let's go.
yeah, it's true.
Exactly, Salty. That's
Right?
why everyone drank gin and beer
And wine.
and wine. Yeah, or actually coffee,
Oh,
because
cold.
coffee and tea, it's the boiling of the water that made it safe.
Mhm.
Right. She's like, oh, you're cold. Of course he's cold. He's been standing outside for
For who knows how
Hours.
long in a blizzard.
Here's the thing,
Mr.
though.
Scrooge is a Scrooge.
Their house is a lot nicer in this version than in some of the other versions I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the older versions, that house was busted. Like, they really look poor.
yeah. The later scene where he's Tim is dead. In the future, they had to film that twice because there's a car garage right beside this house, and there was too much noise going on, and they couldn't hear the actors' dialogue.
Oh, that somebody was like
That's awesome.
riveting some tires on or something.
Yeah,
Probably.
riveting on some horse carriage wheels.
I think the other thing why I'm not like, it doesn't really surprise me that they're not like super dirt poor. Like, well, Scrooge is very much like, very penny pincher. He's gonna pay his employees like well enough.
He's
To
right.
get by.
He's
Well, like if they look super dirt poor, like it's a bad reflection on him, and he cares about his image to some degree.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
All of them, Zach. All of them.
He's just probably just paying them enough to, you know what I mean? Like, if Tiny Tim wasn't sick and he didn't have so many kids, he could get by just fine.
Yeah.
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 Like, their clothes are nice and clean. They're not wearing like a bunch of raggedy, patched up stuff.
Right.
So this is also the time period too. This kid, he's like, you're about to be old enough to go to work, and this kid's like what 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. You send him
Yeah,
out
and
there.
he's
You
like
give him
looking forward to it. It's like, oh, then I can help the family. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
And that's what you did, and
that's
that's why
Child
you had.
labor.
That's why you had so many kids back then. Well, one, there wasn't any birth control, but two, um, is so that you could put, especially on a farm or something, you can get them out there in the
Mm-hmm.
fields.
and too
And,
Yup.
a lot
You
of
didn't have
kids, a
kids
lot
because
of
you just have
babies,
kids.
a lot of
You
babies
had
died in
kids to
this
put them to work.
time
Yeah.
period too. So that's another reason
yeah.
people had lots of
Yeah.
kids.
Plus, you could raise a big
And,
family on less than you can
and,
these days.
and Scrooge, he's going to be working for Scrooge's nephew, and Scrooge is like, "Oh, that's too much money for my nephew, paying him too much money." This is like this ghost is like giving him looks that your
This.
parent would do, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like,
did you just say
okay,
that?
you know the look I'm talking about when you've done something wrong and they're like, all they have to do is give you a look. And it's like, oh,
Yep.
oh.
Yup.
And that sneer, that his sneer on his face is great.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes, Zach. Yes, Zach. That is sexy Jesus Santa. That
Yeah.
is yes.
But his shoulders aren't anywhere as good as yours are.
He
That's
is
right.
he is making Scrooge question his straightness.
And Scrooge
That's
is
exactly
like,
what would be happening in this day.
oh, that goose is too small. It's like, it's all he could afford.
Why couldn't he afford more? I don't know, Scrooge. You're the one paying the guy.
He has gambling debts. Is that why?
I like this right here where they finish praying and Scrooge says amen and the ghost goes, what'd you say? Like, nothing. Oh, I thought I heard you say it's borderline comedic the way that spirit kind of looks over at him and reads that off.
Like, so you are
It's like, I
religious.
didn't say anything. See if y'all can hear it.
Nope, can't.
We
No.
can't hear it.
Can't hear
It's better
no
anyway.
audio.
Yeah,
Once
that's
you
fine.
get
That's
to
right.
get a strike or something.
Probably.
Did you say
one.
something? Oh, no.
Nope.
I
Nope.
sneezed. I sneezed.
Achoo.
Yeah, let's go in CLS.
What's
Bless you.
up?
Achoo. Bless you. Oh no, that's my name.
So yeah, this is where we get the toast to his boss, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
You're like,
everyone's like, why are
Scrooge
you thinking
there."
about toasting your Scrooge boss? I
I mean, it wouldn't be a family holiday without there being a little back and forth and disharmony between the parents at some point, right?
Right.
Is that just me? Never mind.
I like he asks, will the boy survive? And he's like, by this
Why do
time
you
next year, he
care?
will be dead.
Oh yeah.
No, he will not. And the ghost is like, why are you bothered? It'll
Right?
just
Like, why do
decrease
you
the
even
surplus
care?
population.
Right?
Scrooge is
Throws
like,
his words right back
You
at
use
him.
my words against me.
He's so insulted by that too. But you know he's the type of
Mhm.
person that would do that to somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, it's different if you're talking abstract numbers and just giant whatever. It's different if you actually know somebody that's affected
Yeah.
by it.
And this is the pudding. Too. Brings out
Yep.
the pudding.
Exactly.
more like
That's
a-
when
like-
when I saw that I
it
was
looks
like,
like-
that's not pudding.
That
Have
is
y'all
old
ever had
school
one of
pudding.
these?
No, I have
Yeah,
not.
yes.
They're
it's
good. They're good. My mom made one time. It takes like, you have to ferment it, the stuff that you make it with. And it's really good. It really,
Hmm.
It's
really
just
good.
like, if you really think about blue cheese, if you like blue cheese, what it really is, it's kind of nasty.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Most
basically
cheese in
mold
general is
in
nasty when you think
in
about it.
cheese, but it's good. It's a good kind of mold. Or if you think about shrimp, they're basically bugs from the ocean,
Yeah.
but
Yup.
they're good.
They're the cockroaches of the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they would also, they'd make individual ones, and in one of
Hey,
them they would
Tracy,
put a
how's it
coin
going?
in it. In
Uh,
one of them they would put a coin in it, and
mhm.
it's kind of a lucky thing.
Yeah, if you find it,
Hmm.
it's like finding the baby in the bread from New
Yes.
Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I learned about that when I was in the service. We had a guy that was from there, and when we had our Christmas or something, he brought that bread out, and it's in a certain shape too, I think, and you eat it.
The what king's cake?
Yeah, the king's cake. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
He's like, and uh, we toast to Mr. Scrooge, and his wife's like sits down low. I'm
Yeah.
not toasting him.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And he's like, don't you have any charity?
Yep. He's like, if you don't toast to Scrooge, I'm gonna go into a computer and become evil.
I like her way out. She's like, oh, fine, but not for him. I'm just going to do it for you. She's like, I don't really care if he lives longer, but I'll say the words.
Begrudgingly.
And now we're at his nephew's
Ah.
party. I think, and everybody's making fun of him. It's like, oh, that curmudgeon. And he's down on his wife because he married her. She didn't have anything.
Oh, yeah. Which is kind of the situation that Scrooge almost found himself in.
Yeah.
Yup. He was so close.
Yeah, but why would she need to bring anything? You know what I mean? I mean, I guess back then you wanted to marry for status and stuff too, if you could. But if you're already rolling in dough, what do you know what I mean? If you're marrying for
You do
love,
it. You do most of the time. It's done for like yes, you might be rich, but if you marry somebody else's daughter or whatnot for influence, because there's rich power and then there's influential power.
Right.
So
To
I've
marry well.
I've seen this many times before. It's the one I grew up on watching, but I guess I haven't really sat down and really paid attention in quite a while. It just hit me today that Scrooge has done to his nephew what his father did to Ebenezer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's explicitly said in the book, but I get the feeling that his sister died giving birth to his nephew. And so he's taking it out on him just like his dad did to him.
Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't. I don't think it explicitly says that, but it's kind of implied that that's kind of what's happening.
So they're playing like a
Adam.
game like charades or something. Like,
Similes.
yeah, similes.
That's when you know the party's really getting started, when you play the word games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
exactly.
Have a little, drink a little bit, then play the word games.
Right.
Yeah. I guess it is the modern version like charades or Uno or
Yeah.
whatever. It's the thing you got to start with before you get into the crazier stuff that's going to start a fight.
Right. Phase 10.
Yeah,
And
before
it's
the
so
moonshine
funny.
and Everclear come out.
That's right.
His nephew says, you have to finish this tight as a, and he's like, these stupid people, it's tight as a drum, idiots.
I do like that the spirit at one point shushes him for giving the correct answer. He's, hush, Ebenezer. He goes, but you told me they can't hear us. He's like, oh, yeah. Even I sometimes forget the rules every now and then. I don't come down here very often. Yeah, it does come down to tight as a drum, and it falls to his nephew's wife, and he basically just used it as a to insult her for being too stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it's true. It's true.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Wonder when that hairstyle's coming back.
That
What hers or
I'd
his?
say give it like
Hers
10
with
more
the
years.
with the curly like curl
10 more
things.
years or so.
yeah. Yeah. And his too, you know.
That's called just not getting a haircut.
Yeah.
And
I
he
tried
puts
that, but mine
curls
all
in his
fell
hair
out.
too.
Wait, are you saying that you actually had hair before a beard?
Yes, once upon a time.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like one of those people that just never had any, like Bakar.
No, it started going thin early, but I definitely had some. Actually, even before I did the full beard, I did some pretty decent mutton chops for a while.
Hmm.
It probably could have fit in.
There you go.
Yeah. I did
I
too
still
when I
never
couldn't
understood why
grow
mutton
anything.
chops are like so popular. I don't think they are as good as like a full beard, in my opinion.
For a long time I had long sideburns and a little soul patch. Because it's all I could
Ah,
grow.
You work with what you have.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess so. I've always hated the little like mustache that just. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
What? You've always hated the what?
The like mustache that looks like you're a predator.
The little pin?
Yes.
Yes. That's like Hercule Poirot's.
Oh,
Yay.
but do you like like the 30s mustache though? Unlike the leading man, like Clark Gable and stuff. You know what I mean? Where
I
it's
think
like just shaved down to a little line kind of thing. No,
no. If you're gonna do a mustache, do an actual mustache.
so like a
Don't
Tom
have
Selleck then.
probably yeah
Yeah.
or handlebar.
I did curly
Oh,
handlebar
yeah.
mustache for a little while. It's a pain.
It is.
It is. I tried to grow one time and it just did not suit me.
Yeah,
And I love this.
Burnsides
He's like, where are we now?
or where it's a mustache and sideburns together, but their bottom. Like imagine if the picture right now he had a mustache, but his
Yeah,
everything else
yeah.
was clean shaven.
It would go like
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
I worked with a guy who did a full burn side one time. It connected and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
There's a reason that went out of fashion in the 1860s.
Right. Very much a period piece.
Yeah, and this is bad too. It's like, why don't they go to the workhouse? Because they don't want to, idiot. How would you like to go to the workhouse?
Yeah, these the quote unquote surplus population. And
Mhm.
I think Ebenezer says something like, why should I care? And the spirit's like, they're human, aren't they? Do they look
Right.
human to you?
Mhm.
Humanity is, part of your life.
Yeah, it's like these people didn't choose to live under a bridge in wintertime.
Mhm.
And just have potatoes to eat.
Especially back then. You know what I mean? There were no social network, social programs, or weren't really that many. Education wasn't uh, free or mandatory in a lot of places. So you could wind up and you get hurt or something, or you have problems with your spouse, you could wind out up on the street real easily.
Mhm.
Um, Mother dies, you could be an orphan real easily. No one take you in, that kind of
Easy,
stuff.
easy. Mhm.
It's not like the today where, you know, if you're out on the street, it's because you've got other things in your life that didn't go good, like mental health or alcohol or drug problems. And
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
with the way inflation's going, I can see how if you were right on the edge before, because rents are so high, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, my rent's about to go up like 30 to 40 bucks this next
Oh,
year.
you're lucky. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Around where I'm at, the rents have gone up 200 or 300. So
Hmm.
yeah, something that used to be like 800, they went like 1,200 for now. That's crazy.
Yikes. Yeah, and you can tell that it was a shameful thing for a man not to be able to find work back
hmm
then.
Yep.
Yep.
And he's to the point of sending his family to the church poorhouse and
Mm-hmm.
go off himself or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's sad. I would think in this time period it would have been better to live out in the country under a
Absolutely.
under a lord or something that took care of his people.
Mm-hmm. At least a good one. Not all of them were good.
No,
Well, you got to remember in the 1840s, if this is in the beginning or middle, towards the end of that, they have the potato famine in Ireland, and all these
Mm-hmm.
people
yeah,
starved, but they were exporting tons and tons and tons of wheat from Ireland and England. So that whole starvation, for the most part, was man-made. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. They could have done something to fix it so that everyone didn't starve like they did.
Yep.
But if that had never happened, we wouldn't have so many Irish people in America.
yeah.
This is true. I would not be here because a lot of my ancestry is Irish and German.
Oh, missed it. You this is where he shows the little ones.
Yeah, this one always creeped me out when I was a kid.
Bro, it still creeps me out.
I mean, the wording is kind of weird too. Maybe that's why he's so tall. He's been walking around in the backs of small children.
Yeah,
Right.
This isn't the one. The one that I remember from a different one. They were like on the ground, like hunched down, like Gollum and stuff.
That might be the 35.
Yeah.
Like,
So I know we touched on this earlier, but I don't know if we settled on it. They're ignorance and want.
Okay. Yeah.
yes, correct.
And when by want they mean like deprivation, don't have anything, starvation,
Yes.
not want like I want that now.
Yeah, as
Oh,
in
like
for the
TikTok
want of a boat, I drowned in the ocean.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. For the want of education, the ignorance, and want. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like also people's ignorance not wanting to look upon that,
Yep.
not wanting to see those people, living under a bridge that
I, s-
The
can't
reason
go
why
get
they
a
say
job.
ignorance is bliss.
Yeah,
I saw a video of somebody that does like history stuff, and they were talking about before they had like compulsory education for children. They went and they interviewed people on the street and asked them questions about stuff, and the answers they had were insane. Like they didn't even know where France was, and they lived in England. They're like, it's somewhere
Mm-hmm.
out there. Like they didn't know anything, and so
yeah.
it
It's
was,
like
yeah.
who did we win independence from? Mexico.
Well, this is from like the 1800s is what I'm talking about,
Oh,
not like
okay.
modern day stuff. Is the 1800s is like they had literally no clue who like what anything was. And now you go to school, you at least learn how to read and write and do math. And so, well, you would hope that that's what's
You
happening.
used to.
Yeah.
You're supposed to.
I mean, yep. You'll be all up to speed on Zze Zer and what pronoun to use, but you can't, do math or anything. That's okay. We
Yeah.
got Chat GPT and
Yeah.
calculators.
I love this too. The ghost is like, well, it's time for me to leave you. And he's like, what? You can't leave me here. Take me back to my bed.
Yeah, he's basically like, nah, the
Nope.
other dude's already on his way.
Bye.
I gotta go.
And he's
Your
nasty.
Uber's here.
Yeah, your modern day Uber is here, sir, and he's not happy.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Scrooge to just start slapping people
Yeah.
like Patton.
Shieldwall, I
Oh.
think you were thinking of Ignorance and Want from the 1999 Patrick Stewart version.
Oh yeah, maybe that's it. Yep,
Mm.
Okay.
that might have
Sorry,
been it.
you said that and it got in my head that I'd seen it too, and I had to figure it out.
Yeah,
Or
they
it's gonna
looked a
annoy me the
lot
entire time.
creepier than these just two kids into some like deep eyeshadow makeup.
Yeah.
It also might have been the cartoon too that I'm remembering as well.
Probably.
And there
So
he
this
is.
this whole
There he is.
thing is shot so great.
It is.
Absolutely.
I mean, at first it looks like it's a composite shot between the foreground and the background. But I mean, at some point it can't be because Scrooge walks the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like that ethereal fog that they've got that kind of throws off your perception of whether the scene is actually physically connected in a one shot or not.
And like, I always love the fact that you don't actually like you just assume that this ghost is death, like the personification of death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a couple of ones I've seen though, you see the skeletal hand with the finger.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, you get an it's
Yeah.
not real clear in this one, but you get an outline of it, like
Yeah.
lit from behind, that it's a bony hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. These are the guys that were going to buy corn, I think, from him.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, he's dead.
Yeah, this is the exchange where basically everything's bought and sold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's like, why did you show me that? Don't they have any respect for the dead?
No.
It's like, this is my room. What's going on here?
So this got me thinking about there's kind of like what happens to a person when they're by themselves and then they die. There's kind of like an epidemic of that in Japan right now, where there's these old people that live by themselves and then they'll just die and nobody will have any contact with them until like their rents due, and they'll come find they've been laying on the ground like decomposing for like
that's
2
sad.
weeks. Yeah. Yep.
That's terrible.
I saw one where they moved the guy's body and he had a cup noodle underneath him. So that's what he was eating for dinner when he died and fell on top of it.
Ooh.
Man. Yeah, so he's already been found. He's all wrapped up in a
Prepared for
blanket.
because I don't think they embalmed back then.
No, they had a cart guy come around.
Yeah, I kind of see this as like if he did have like a housekeeper or like his neighbors suspected something, they basically just covered his face out of, basic human decency until the cart can come around and pick him up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he takes him to this place.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Oh, it's like a pawn shop, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And his
More or less, like a
housekeepers
swap
stole
meet.
all his stuff and pawning it. He's like, these are my things.
It's like, you don't need them anymore, sir.
I like when he picks up the blanket and she's like, don't get wax on his blanket. And he's like, oh, he didn't die of anything catchy, did he?
That was a real concern back then.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there was no cure for smallpox yet. I think you could get inoculated against it, but you needed somebody that already had, you know what I mean? Like that might have
Yeah.
been around, but there were so many other diseases that you could get that would kill you.
Yep. And they're laughing at him being dead.
Yeah. Every time I see this, I keep still thinking that, it's like Diagon Alley or something. Where the wands
Absolutely.
at?
He's like, he keeps saying, why can't you take me somewhere where People are actually sad I'm dead.
Because there isn't
There
anybody.
isn't anybody. These people aren't sad aren't sad you're dead or are glad you're dead. They want to sell your
Mhm.
things. And poor little tiny Tim.
Yep. That's the one that actually everybody's sad about.
Yeah. Because he actually brought joy to people.
Right? He
Mhm.
actually was an asset to society.
They got no money to feed their family. Got money for all these candles, lighting the place up. The candles were expensive back then.
Mhm.
Got money for fake disguises. But he
Well, I'm
got
sure
money-
like that Scrooge's nephew probably took over the business and is actually paying these
Oh,
people
right.
well
Yeah,
now.
yeah. With the Burl Ives for the win. Yes, definitely. Wait. Was he just doing a Biden? He's doing a Biden.
Don't tank this movie.
Don't do it.
ruin this movie for
Don't.
me. Don't la, la,
It's
la,
like
la, la,
ice
la.
cream.
No.
What flavor do I want?
Nope.
No,
I
stop
won't
it.
let you ruin this scene for me. I won't let you do it.
I couldn't help it. Sorry.
No.
Yeah. That literally looks like Biden.
Oh my
What he would
God.
do. Like, look at that. Yeah, totally.
But it's not. It's his daughter.
Yeah, it's
He's
his daughter.
comforting her. He's
Yeah,
not asking if
exactly.
she wants to rub his leg hair.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, I think it just nearly made Mando retch.
Ugh. Agree. Yes, absolutely. Ugh.
she's like, but father,
also, Jay, I agree with
we're
you.
still here. Don't be sad. It's like you have plenty of children here.
That's true,
Sorry,
Adam.
no.
But if they were buying those candles, yeah, they're loaded.
Yeah.
Although I think maybe by this point in history, candles weren't as expensive as they used to be.
And two, his other son is working.
Oh, he's working too, right? They got him out.
Mhm.
They got him out there
Yeah.
working.
Oh yeah, they got double income.
Yeah.
And his wife and daughter are probably doing like counting stitch or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sewing
some sort of
things,
sewing and probably
Yeah.
selling it.
Yeah.
making matchsticks. Oh,
Oh, there we go.
here we go. This is actually interesting. This tombstone thing that he goes to.
Mhm.
They actually. Here, I'll wait till it gets to that part.
Jay's got a
they-
good point. They were doing
Mhm.
whale oil was where it was at back then.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
So
Because they didn't have gaslighting yet in the city of London.
No, not yet. So the ghost of Christmas future like points at the tombstone. He's like, "What is this? Do I really have to look at the name?"
Mhm.
Yeah, this entire time it's like he knows, but he's been denying it
Yeah.
because he had to recognize the inside of his own bedroom when he refused
Right.
to look at that poor soul instead of naming himself.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I like how the ghost communicates with lightning.
Mhm.
Well, I read something earlier that much like the future and the ghost of Christmas yet to come he's silent because the future doesn't speak to us. It's not until it gets here that we actually know what's happening.
Mhm.
It's a nice little portrayal, I think.
Yeah, and I think this is interesting. I think it's salt on the tombstone.
Hmm.
Oh, they actually put salt on it?
Yeah, instead
Yep.
of to
Yeah.
give the illusion of snow.
Mm. Mhm.
Yeah, because it doesn't move like you would expect snow to move.
Yeah.
Apparently, that slab is still there in that cemetery.
It is. Mhm.
Right. Yeah. They just left it. It's cool. It'd be cool to go see. It's like, please don't let it in like this.
I don't want to die like this. I'll change. I'll change. Let me live.
Doesn't he call back to some wording that the Ghost of Christmas Present said? Because when he was asking about Tiny Tim surviving, he said something like, if it's much fancier wording, I don't remember, but like, if these faded things don't change, then there's no way to save the boy. Then he starts, pleading, these faded things, they can't be changed, right? Right? They can be changed, and he just gets no answer, obviously.
Mhm.
Yeah. So he winds up back in his bed. He's like, I have a second
I'm
chance.
alive. I'm alive. They did it in one night. I'm alive.
So I had to look it up, as I do, because these things get in my head and they won't go away, about why Christmas yet to come is basically death. Apparently, in the Victorian era, people would spend a special time remembering their deceased loved ones at Christmas. So it was kind of a focus on death.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I always
Like,
thought it was
God
just
doesn't-
because at the anything that the only thing that you know for sure in the future is that you will die or that there is death.
One other thing that this movie really eh, demonstrates is someone having a significant emotional event and how it can change their life. I've seen it happen to lots of people where something happened to them, family member died, whatever, but it was such a big event that it totally changed the course of their life,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and made them either grow up or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they were not a very serious person before that, and then whatever happened, and then they become serious and then get their
Mhm.
act together and start, trying to do things better or different or whatever.
Right.
It's like hitting rock bottom in a way,
Yeah.
Mhm.
like alcoholic or
And
something,
wanting redemption from it,
right? Or
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
recognizing that there needs to be a change in your life.
Yep.
It's
I used to be a
oh,
very,
remarkable boy,
very
remarkable.
quiet, closed, introverted person, wallflower. You wouldn't believe that now.
No, not at all.
Exactly. It's before all that scissoring.
Absolutely,
Oh,
all before the
I love this
scissoring.
too. He's like, he dives onto the bed.
He's just dancing around like he's not 100 years old.
Oh, wait. You know what he's doing right here? He's playing similes with himself. Where he's saying, I'm as a, and then I'm as
Yes.
this, as a.
Yeah. I'm his, what is it? As a drunken man or something.
Yeah. And then he falls down. I don't know if that was intentional and how that was written, but I just realized it.
Yeah, this guy's like, this better not be a prank or I'm gonna box your ears. So yeah, he
That
gets
poor
that little
man.
boy to go get the biggest prize turkey. It's like,
Well,
box
so he
your
gave the
ears
kid
if
a
this is a
nickel to
prank.
go get this guy to bring it, and then this guy's going to get payment at the door, right?
Well, I
Mhm.
think in
Right,
this
he
version, he
pays
doesn't
him,
even give him a nickel, right? He just
Yeah.
tells him to go do it
I'll
and
give
says
you
he'll
half a
promises
crown or
him. Yeah, he promises him if he can do it in 5 minutes or less, he gets half a crown.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of money back then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he like gives him the
You
address.
also can
and-
trust a small child to remember to do that.
Yeah, I think they put a little more, like today, you just wouldn't yell out the window and be like, hey, kid across the street, go do this. You'd be lucky if that kid could tie his own shoes.
You're not my parent.
You know?
You're not my mother.
I'm busy. I'm playing World of Warcraft.
Or yeah, they'd be
Playing
stranger
Fortnite.
danger, stranger danger.
Wow, that kid went and fetched a turkey for about 13 cents.
Is that what a half a crown was?
Wow.
Half a crown was basically their equivalent to, or a crown was basically equivalent to their 25 cents.
Really?
So, I mean, that's not factoring a whole bunch of inflation and stuff like that. That's just,
Oh yeah. 13 cents back then. You could
Yeah,
get a whole meal off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this part too. He's like, oh, they're like, no, it's Mr. Scrooge. And he's like, I can see my name isn't pleasant to you.
Yeah.
And then he whispers
Like,
out,
I can see
"Oh,
that
I'll
I
give
am
you."
not welcome here.
I
That's
do
And then
like
they're
that
like,
he
"Oh,
whispers the value and it's just kind of left ambiguous.
yeah."
Obviously, a lot based on the reaction.
Right? They're
And
just
he
like,
even says there's some back payments in there too.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
I love the two. You can tell the styles are changing
Mhm.
by the hats.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Got this older style curved hat and
Mhm.
then the straight to the straight.
You
And
can get
even the
hats like that.
jacket.
Yeah, you can get hats like that in Red Dead Redemption. Put on your character.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, you
Yeah.
do.
I wonder if I could pull off a hat like that.
Which
Yes,
one?
yes, you could.
The one Scrooge has on, or the other guys?
I like the one Scrooge has. I like the older one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's totally like anybody did the
Oh, yeah.
steampunk cosplay has hats like that.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
thought
don't know
about
if I
actually
want it
getting a hat
anymore.
like that one time, like a steampunk hat like that.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah,
I
you
kind of
put
wish
some
I had
goggles
because it
on
had
it
like
and,
goggles.
like,
Yeah.
leather straps or metal or something.
Sam Houston wore a
Yup.
hat like that.
That's right.
Yep. Although by the time
Eh.
this movie takes place, Texas was already a state.
Yeah.
Shay.
Yup.
Fair point.
CLS, I don't think so. I think it was.
I'd have to look that up. Although, yeah, I'm not.
Now everybody switched to research status.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And that poor man, that is not a small turkey that he's hauling around.
No.
It's according to what I'm seeing on the internet. It's Prussia. 1839 was the first country to pass laws restricting child labor in factories and setting the numbers of hours a child could work. Yeah.
I'll be right back, guys. Gotta
Okay.
check something.
All right.
He's also checking, like we're all just like checking click, click, clack.
Yeah.
Anytime Jacob says I'll be right back, I'm imagining him picking up a weapon and heading out to the raccoons.
Let's see. Yeah. I think I'm finding more or less the same thing. I mean, that was also another, I think, another thing for the United States.
I
about
saw a
northern and
picture that
southern
says
stuff.
2 girls protesting child labor in the 1909 New York Labor Day parade.
Uh-huh.
So that tells me that, yeah, it probably wasn't America.
Nope.
Hmm.
Because it was also an issue for the Civil War. Like I'm reading something now where it was like, I think the northern states didn't want child labor and the southern states did, or vice versa. But yeah, that was something in the Civil War.
Hmm.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
1924 was when the U.S. started to make it illegal for anyone under the age of 18.
And, you know, a few kids get black lung from the coal mines and suddenly everybody's up in arms.
You lose a
goodness.
couple of fingers and toes and feet
Oh,
and
that whole-
arms and legs and head.
The whole 2 or 3 decades before leading up to that with like work safety and stuff and the publishing of
Work smart, work
certain
safe.
books, like that one about slaughterhouses. What's it called? Something Jungle. They talk about like guys falling into whole like vat things of meat and they just don't find the guy. And they're like, well, we'll just process this
More
anyway.
protein.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah. But the amount of injuries that people were getting. Yeah, look at that turkey. Although it's going to take like a day and a half to cook it.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll cook it in no time. It's fine. They'll find a way.
See behind them there, you have those paper chains of
Mhm.
the little paper chains that you all make in kindergarten or whatever. I wonder how
Yup.
old those are. Like how far back you'd have to go before you see people making them.
I'd have.
I don't know. Paper would have been
When was
expensive
paper
back then.
made?
Well, they've had paper papyrus since the Egyptian times. So, I mean, of course,
Yeah.
it wasn't cheap, so you just couldn't, you know. That's what I'm saying. These guys were like, "Oh, we don't have anything to eat, but we got money for paper and candles and all this other stuff."
You're starting to sound a little Scroogey, my friend.
I'm just saying.
Right?
You got like pictures in your house and bowls of fruit, all kinds of stuff.
And now they've also got a giant dead bird they have to defeather and
Yeah.
clean.
Oh, that's
I'm
something that they
seeing
would.
Save those feathers.
1850s,
Yeah.
and that's when they
We'll
were
make a
first
pillow.
kind of seen in the UK, but in Germany, 1610.
Yeah, the Germans are always ahead of the curve on Christmas, I think.
Wait, is that ivy in wintertime?
Yeah, you can tell they just
Hmm.
sprayed that on there because
Mhm.
doesn't that it doesn't stay green all winter, does it?
I don't think so.
I think it kind of like remains at least brownish green. Like I think it's still there in the wintertime, just not dark green.
And there's a knock at the door. And he's like, "It's my
It's
uncle."
my
What?
uncle.
He's like, I said some pretty nasty things about Christmas, about boiling people and pudding and sticking things through their hearts.
I
And
wish
that
I
was
was
a
a
humble
mean
brag.
person to
Apologize.
you, young one.
Very humbled here too, as he's
This would
talking
be
to him.
really confusing for somebody your entire life, from birth to adulthood, that you either never knew, and anytime you tried to get to know, just basically completely dismissed. Now suddenly showing up and being apologetic, that would be a hard thing to process for
Well,
a real
part of
person.
me
Yeah.
wonders like where's his father? Like if his mother passed away in childbirth, like who raised the boy? Part of
I
me
don't know.
wonders if like maybe
His father.
Scrooge had a hand in raising him or sent him off to boarding school or something because he has a relationship with him and not his father for whatever reason. So
The world was especially dangerous for dudes back then, so who knows? Maybe he's not around anymore.
Maybe.
Jay, I thought working on a farm, especially if it was a family farm, was looked at differently under the law. The only permitting we had on a for yeah, exactly. Um, you just did it. It was considered chores basically.
yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think I got my first job around 13, and I don't remember having to go through any extra permitting. So maybe
Yeah,
Texas just didn't care.
yeah, that's about right. It just be like,
Scrooge too.
sorry, mom and dad, I can't do my chores. I don't have my work permit.
I don't have my work permit. And Scrooge kind of plays a prank on him here.
Get that
Like,
look
"Oh,
right there when the door opens up as he's trying to get the
like-
key. He's like, "Oh crap!"
I've messed up.
Yeah, that's how you do it, Adam.
Mr. Cratchit. It's like, oh, I burned my finger. Oh.
Ah.
It's like, what time is it? It's like 18 past the hour.
18 and a half.
I'm going to take care of this right now by raising your pay. It's like, and I think Cratchit's response to it is better than his nephew's, because it's like, he's like, what?
Have you lost your mind?
presence of a madman.
He's like, and don't dot another I without putting more coal on that fire.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh.
even though he's been told to, he's kind of hesitating actually putting it in there.
Yeah. And Tiny too. Yay.
Yo, my heart.
Yeah, God bless us one and all.
Oh,
Yeah.
just wants to take in Tiny Tim and just give him a big hug.
That
So I
kid
know
is
this is kind of
little too.
wrapping everything up. So I always took it as this is like a time jump forward where Tiny Tim is healthier, like it's the next Christmas because
Right.
obviously he's
Yeah.
running.
Yeah. Or
Right.
else, you
Yeah,
just
and
get a little bit of that turkey juice on you, and now you're good to go.
It might make you a little bit sleepy, but tryptophan really heals up the old rickets.
Yeah.
Yup.
Exactly.
yeah, I think this is like the next Christmas when they were both supposed to be dead, at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that makes sense. Yeah.
And he survives rickets to fall down a storm drain. Oh no. Sorry.
And
Sorry.
there is, not to bring reality to this fantasy, but there's a whole lot to be said about health, especially heart health, by not being a stressed out, grumpy, angry person all the time.
Right. And
It-
having
it's
high
a
cholesterol.
balance. It's a balance between working hard, getting work done,
Yeah.
being very hyper productive, and those are the kinds of things that that build the world, and taking enough time to enjoy life and making it worth doing. There's no point in doing all that if you're going to be miserable the whole time.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. And grumpy. Grumpy and miserable.
Being grumpy is not good for your health.
Yeah,
But it is fun sometimes.
So, for Christmas, ham or turkey or whatever.
Ham.
Sorry, but I think I ham.
Ham.
Or T-bone steaks or
Definitely
whatever
ham.
it is. Brisket,
Yeah.
barbecue, tamales.
I've done,
I like
we've,
whatever's available,
done
especially
a
if somebody else makes it. I don't care what it is.
Right.
pork roast.
I mean, I would love tamales for Christmas.
What's Jay said? They're
A
taking
pork
him to the
roast
cotton
stuffed
mill.
with
They weren't taking him to Christmas dinner. They were taking him to the cotton mill. Get to work. You're healthy now.
Gonna lose all those fingers and toes that you just
Yeah,
got
go
to
to
working
Yeah,
properly.
exactly. Yeah, you got to run underneath the machinery while it's working to get up all the scraps of
clean
wool.
out all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Mhm. Who else is going to fit down there?
We don't have
Well,
time
that's
to shut
exactly
it
why they
down
use little
for
kids to do
for
it.
you to go in there and clean. Get in there.
They'd get little kids as little as 5 and
Yeah,
have them running
because they
around
had
in
small
there.
fingers.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that they touched that in the what's the movie Snowpiercer, when he gets up to the front where like a bunch of machinery is, and like inside the machinery, like crawling around all these gears and things, children keeping the machine running. But yeah, it's true for historical
That's
purposes. That is
because it
what they
was
were
made
used
for
for.
the Oompa Loompas to.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was made for the Oompa Loompas to control the train.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have y'all seen that? Snow Pacers, like the
I think
sequel
I've
to
heard.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate
Yeah, I think
Factory?
I've heard that kind of theory that people put together.
I don't get the connection.
Hmm.
I don't. Yeah.
I mean, I've
I
read
don't-
They
the
I don't
have like
remember it.
sequel
bars
book,
like chocolate,
but
but it's bug protein and
Oh yeah, that's
because all the
that's
machinery was
yeah.
small, it was made for the Oompa Loompas that died out, so they have to have kids to control everything.
Sorry, I didn't
Man.
mean to. No pun intended. Derail us.
Yeah.
That's okay.
we were on a
But anyway,
rail anyway.
any last thoughts on this movie? Shieldwall?
It's a great movie. I recommend everybody, if you haven't seen it yet, to watch it. And if you have watched it, then watch this one and then watch some other different variants of it just to see how, how the story's different and it's evolved. And also look and see which one has the better looking turkey in it. This one's because I've seen ones where they actually have the turkey cooked and it looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was
and then there's some.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say this is a fun rewatch. Always is. It's been a while, like I said, since I like sat down and actually devoted time to it without doing something like looking at my phone or playing a game while it's playing on a TV over there or something. But yeah, I really like this. Like I said, it's one I grew up on mostly. I also really like the 1999 one with Patrick Stewart. They're both acted totally differently. George C. Scott's much more kind of reserved and kind of lets kind of everything happen around him define the emotions you should be feeling from Ebenezer. Whereas Patrick Stewart obviously is a much more kind of outward dramatic actor in that role, but they're both great. If people have seen this one, enjoyed it, and haven't seen the other one, I recommend that one too.
Yeah, definitely. Mando.
Still always gonna be one of my favorite renditions of A Christmas Carol. I still recommend read the book. Read the book. Always read the book.
Do it now.
I mean, do it now. I actually am probably gonna borrow the book from the library or purchase another copy for myself and read it. For Christmas. I need to make that a tradition. I have ideas now. But yeah, I this has always been one of my favorite renditions, and I know the story by heart, but it's still like seeing Tiny Tim always just melts my heart, no matter how I know what's gonna happen, but I still love Tiny Tim and the ending and all that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, this is the one I grew up with, so I remember it. But yeah, there's older versions of it that are good too that are worth a watch as well.
Yeah, it's a old black and white one. I think that was made in the 30s is the one I'm thinking about.
Yeah, correct. So yeah, that was great discussion of this movie, and chat was really
active.
had a good chat this evening. Yeah, very active.
Yeah. Talking about taking Tiny Tim to the cotton mill.
Drop kicking Tiny Tim.
Yeah, drop kicking Tiny Tim. Yeah.
He's a punt him.
Yeah, Tiny Tim has scurvy and rickets.
Yeah.
Poor little kid. What's he gonna do? Run away?
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
And he
We're
invented
so
twins.
bad.
Poor kid. Well, thank y'all.
Didn't
Thank y'all for
deserve
coming
any
on.
of it.
And anybody, y'all want to do any plug your stuff coming up?
Well, Roman is not going to have a show on Thursday. He's taking that off, so I don't have anything for that week.
Right.
What are you doing next Tuesday, Jacob?
Little Shop Around the Corner. It's an old Jimmy Stewart movie, 1940.
Okay. Well, if you would like me to be on that one, I'm available for that.
Definitely.
Yeah, other than that, I don't really have anything going on. Thank you for having me on. I'm always appreciative that you, invite me to the show and, let me give my opinions and stuff on it. It's always great to be here.
Always good to have you.
Yeah. Thanks to the chat and like to talk about these things, and Beard and Mando. It's always great to be on a stream with you guys. It's a lot of fun. So,
yeah. Beard, what do you got coming?
Well, I'm kind of on call for your December movies, so we'll see if I show up on those. Other than that, I think over on After the Weekend, our next Monday review is going to be Home Alone, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to revisit that classic right there. And also, in case anybody missed it on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, I don't care.
Twix. I've started
Twix.
to call it Twix.
JT and R2 asked me to kind of join on full time for After the Weekend. So I'm not just a third co-host for the Saturday shows, but for every Monday show as well.
Very
Awesome.
nice.
Good stuff.
Nice.
Moving up in the world.
Yeah, I'm not even trying. I don't know what's wrong with people. Why do y'all keep asking me back?
It's the beard. It's the big beard
It's the
energy.
beard. It is. It is.
So,
Yep.
so this makes me
It's
a lot
magic.
less. People don't want me anymore, right? It's gotta.
No, it's got to
There we
have.
go.
Yeah,
There we
you got to
go.
have the full.
If,
Like
if
you
you
were
ever
drinking all
cut
the.
that beard, people are going to be like, "Who's the guy without the beard? Who's that
Yeah,
guy?"
Right?
exactly.
You can't be Beard of Liberty. You just have to be of Liberty,
Liberty.
Chin of Liberty, or something.
Or
It would
something.
probably be Chins of Liberty at this point. I haven't looked down there in a while, obviously. So anyway,
Yeah. Mando, what do you got coming up?
Well, since Roman will not be streaming Thursday, I will probably do some sort of kick stream or something of that nature. Probably do quite a few kick streams this week. I will be on Horny Alf's channel this Sunday evening playing some games with some folks and with him, and it'll be fun. And then Monday is my Dungeons and Dragons crazy stream that I don't even know what the heck's going on half the time, but I'm somehow the captain of the ship. You got me.
and nothing bad ever happens because of it.
No.
I mean, we did get
Yeah.
attacked by weird fish people this past.
It is
Past
D&D,
Monday.
right?
It's Pathfinder technically.
Pathfinder. Okay, so yeah, you don't have anything crazy like a druid turning into a great white shark, jumping into the water, and then biting something.
Not yet. We do have a druid on our team now, and she's got a giant bird, and the bird's technical name is a rock. So she has a pet rock.
Really? Those are so big. How does it even sit on the ship?
It's a baby one.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right,
it's a
because
big
like
rock.
the full size ones are super big. They're like the
Oh
big,
yeah.
the big
it's a
one
pet
from
rock.
Clash of the Titans.
Yep. When I was helping her create her character, I was like, "Oh, look, it's a bird that's called Rock," and she's like, "Yes." And I was like, "Why don't we look at some of the others?" Yes.
Yeah, ROC.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's spelled.
Yep, ROC. It is. She has a pet rock.
I can't remember if you
Yes.
can ride them or not. I know that they'll
You
pick
can.
you up.
She
and
has a
carry you
saddle.
around. Okay. Yeah.
She has a saddle for it now.
Cool.
Yes. I would have a dragon. I like dragons.
Wow. Those are.
But I also do
little-
play
So yeah,
5e.
the dragons tend to burn things. So
Well, it's not that. It's that they're more sentient. So you actually have to bargain with them, whereas instead of controlling.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can I ride your back? Please don't eat me.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, if you have a good relationship with one, it's pretty cool.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
kinda
I
like
mean,
dealing with a
my race in this as the captain is called a wyvern, which is kind of like a dragon, like human hybrid mix, where I basically am like a small humanoid dragon. So they call me the dragon lady for some reason. I don't know why.
Wait, but it's based off a wyvern.
It's a wyvern. It's kind of like if you fused a wyvern and a kobold together.
Okay,
and
right.
made
So
it
do you have
tall.
a poison tail?
I chose to do a different thing besides the poison tail.
Okay.
Spit acid. Does it spit acid?
No, my character does
No.
not.
Yeah.
spit
Usually
acid.
the wyverns don't have a breath weapon.
Mm-mm. I have I could have had like a stinging tail thingy if I wanted to, but I chose a different path for my character because I knew we were going to be pirates, and so I picked something to where her flying is better, and she you have to switch things out when you play.
Right. Okay. So you actually have wings, though, right?
Yes, I have
Okay.
giant wings.
Okay. But you have hands too.
Yes, I look like. So do you remember the cartoon Gargoyles?
Yeah.
Like
okay.
So the red one, Brooklyn, I think his name was. Yeah, Brooklyn. I look very similar to him, except for female.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's kind of like acting a little bit. You're playing a character, and it's all in your imagination, really.
I had
Every
to look
Monday
everything
I
up that
kick
y'all were
on
just
kick.
saying.
Well, but see, CLS Studios, it's not even a board game because now they have miniatures and you have like hexes and you move and all that. But the OG stuff, you didn't use any of that stuff. It's just your imagination and pencils and dice and paper, and that was it, and some books. I literally
Lots of math.
was part of big campaigns where you never had, you just needed dice and it was all to determine
Oh,
the randomization, but you basically just sat and talked in a circle with paper. There was no models or you didn't have anything to move. You would just say stuff like, there's 4 goblins and they're like 5 feet from you. What do you do? I attack. And then, okay,
Mhm.
that was it. And now it's got like a grid map with hexagons. And I like it because there's actually a strategy to it. It's like playing
Mhm.
chess a little bit. You got to flank them and get over here and all this stuff. And so
Yep.
I
That's
do
cool.
enjoy how that evolved. Um, but the last time I played was 3.5. So
Oh, so that's technically what Pathfinder is. So, like, for any of you Dungeons and Dragons nerds out there, so a lot of people didn't like what happened when Pathfinder went after 3.5 or edition, like 3.5 edition, and so Pathfinder is Dungeons and
yeah, I
Dragons
didn't like
3.5.
the new stuff that came after 3.5. I thought it was
Yeah,
garbage. They nerfed the
yeah. So
hell out of
that's what
druids.
Pathfinder is
It
3.5.
sucked. Anyway, I know we're boring people with this, but it it it's fun.
I'm about to be a part of so I have my Monday night campaigns. I have my like IRL friend group where we do Dungeons and Dragons 5e, and then I'm about to be joining another campaign soon with friends. So all of my shiny math rocks are going to be used.
Ah, that's too many for me. I can't keep all the stories straight if I play more than one. But yeah, but I don't know. You know, I would do that on Sunday, but on Saturday I go get drunk. So I wasn't.
The closest thing I'm to is I've got some Warhammer models that I'm working on
Yes.
Very
painting.
same thing.
Yeah.
Basically, it's tabletop role playing game. So basically the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I haven't played it, but I've got the models.
right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
played it in a long time ago, on tabletop with the Warhammer
You're
miniatures
judging me, aren't you,
for
Mando,
40K.
for not actually playing?
Well, if you're painting them, then that's cool. That's a
Yeah.
that's a thing all in its
I mean,
own.
it's fine. The I've never actually gotten into Warhammer because the lore is just so extensive and complicated and convoluted. I'm just like
Nerd adjacent.
that's
Yes,
too
that's me.
much
Now,
for
which one are
me.
you talking about? The 40K, the space futuristic one, or the fantasy?
Yes.
Because I
I
really like the fantasy one. Is my favorite fantasy setting ever in any genre. I like it more than Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, all of that,
Whoa.
because it's very fleshed out.
you're a heretic now. I can't accept
I
it.
like Tolkien, but it doesn't make it for a very exciting tabletop game because
What?
it doesn't have
That
the,
would be
no, the magic is too like, eh.
sword
I get
fighting.
that, yeah.
Come on, sword
It
fighting,
but the
bows. Come on,
Warhammer Fantasy
axes.
has all of that and more. It's got vampires, it's got Vikings kind of guys, it's got chaos demons, it's got lizard men, it's got elves, it's got 2 kinds of elves, it's got high elves and wood elves, and they're different culturally.
Just play Dungeons and Dragons. You've
Well,
got all of it. There you go.
exactly, but I just like the way that the world fits together. It's like the Warhammer is like the Scientology of RPGs. You have to constantly spend money to keep up with the latest lore. That is true, which is
Exactly,
right.
exactly. That's also
Yeah,
why Wizards of the Coast is in a lot of hot water because like a lot of the older Dungeons and Dragons editions you can't find them anymore
right.
or you have to pay out the wazoo, which is why Pathfinder is kind of starting to really rise up because it's all free more or less. Like you could
Yep.
just go to a website and just play the game
Mhm.
if you want.
And that's the best way to do it. Uh-oh.
Oh
R.I.P.
no!
I guess Wizards of
Did
the
she
Coast
push
kicked
the?
her out. They were like, "No, she can't say anything bad against us. We're done." But Jay's correct, and which is the main reason why I stopped playing Warhammer, is
Yeah,
because they would come out with new rule books all the time, and then the models you had didn't work with it anymore, and it got bloated, and it was crazy. And like,
my only experience with that world is the Vermintide game on PC. And I
yeah,
made the
okay,
mistake
Raccoons.
one day of thinking like, oh, hold on, I'm gonna look this up. I was like Warhammer lore. And about 5 minutes into trying to figure out even
yeah,
where to start reading, I gave up.
the Vermintide game is a perfect place to kind of get an idea of what that fantasy world is like. And That's such a fun game. Did
The
you play the
channel
first one or
looting.
the second one? Did you play the first one or the second one?
Oh, the second one.
The second one's really good. And that one has Chaos Warriors and all kinds of stuff in it. That you I
The
thought it was fun.
YouTube
It's really
the
good.
YouTube channel Luton, I think,
Mhm.
is good. I mean,
Okay.
I'll put that on while I'm doing things. It's like some of them are like an hour long, so you can just listen to him while you're doing other stuff. But he's got a lot of good lore and stuff.
Mando made this stream about D&D, so I deleted her. But the great thing about the D&D rules, though, is that you could totally play whatever world you want. Um,
Yeah, you could
and
just
And
apply the rules to that
that's
world.
crazy that it's not like that for Warhammer. Why not?
Well, because
know?
it's completely different. You're not role playing in Warhammer. You're doing a tabletop game where you're fighting each
Right.
other, like in an actual battle. Whereas you do fight in D&D, but it's character and story driven, where that's not the case in think of Warhammer as more like a video game where you're just like shooting stuff
Right.
and moving
Yeah.
units around. Whereas D&D, it's like playing like an RTS, like The Witcher 3 or something, where
Okay.
there's a
Or
story,
Skyrim.
or Skyrim or something, right? You have a main character, then there's plots, and like you
I
could
mean,
totally do all of Skyrim in D&D.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think
Yeah,
there are people who've done that.
right. The entire story, plot line, and all
Well,
that.
the early Elder Scrolls games were based off, very heavily off of
Yeah.
that, even down to some of the rolling numbers in the background,
Mhm.
dice that didn't exist.
Mhm.
And those kind
Knights
of
of the Old
those go,
Republic exactly is that.
yeah.
Right, that was
So
I mean,
those
totally based
can't
off
those
you?
of
came
the
out of,
D20 system.
I mean, can't you
yeah.
really just set up any thing like D&D? I mean, like Star Wars
Yeah,
or
there are Star
There
Wars
was,
Warhammer
campaigns
yeah.
or
that have
whatever.
those rules. Yeah, absolutely.
You
Mhm.
could do
Starfinder
you
is
could
kind
even
of
do,
that.
you can do Call of Cthulhu, that's a game, I played that before.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's a Doctor Who game out there, but there might be.
I think there is. I think I've seen stuff on it. I don't know how popular it is.
That would be rough to
Um,
try to keep track of a changing timeline.
Yeah, that
yeah,
would.
I think
That
that's
would.
why I think it's a thing, but I don't think too many people do it because of that.
But yeah,
Um,
but that whole I remember when they came out with the D20 system where they just made it open source so that you could use the rules, which are really good, I think, and they cover a lot of things, and then you just make the world however you want it and just run with it. That's why people are like, "Oh, Worlds Wizard of the Coast are changing all these rules." I'm like, "Well, screw them then. I don't need them." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, all you got to do is just know how to
play
do it
it
old
your own
school.
way.
Exactly, and that's the other thing. I'm also a gameplay above rules kind of person. So you can, if you're the
same, yeah.
DM, you can bend the rules a little bit or make things happen one way or the other, and make it suspenseful, but just don't like I played a game called Rifts, and it's kind of it was all right, but it has this stuff in it called mega damage where basically everything you fight is like super deadly. And I got into a situation, and the game master was not one of these kinds of people that could like think outside to make the game fun. And he's like,
Uh,
"Oh, I didn't realize that this was on a ley line. So now all this damage this demon does you is like quadrupled, and it killed my new character." And I was like, "I just made this character. I spent like all day making him, and then you just wiped them out because of an oversight on your part. You didn't realize where we were going to fight was like this, and the rules say this. All you have to do is just come up with some other inventive
Mhm.
way is how I don't
That's
die."
mhm.
that's just a
You know?
bad DM. And for
Yeah,
any of you who don't know, DM Dungeon Master is the one who's kind of like guiding you through your adventure.
yeah. But it's a lot like improv. It's a lot like acting. There are rules, so people that are very rules oriented, you got to be a D&D rules lawyer. Like you know
I hate rules
exactly how
lawyers.
far. Oh, I'm a min maxer rules lawyer. Bask in my glory.
Bruh, my first DM was a rules lawyer. Like he was a rules lawyer DM and it was so
No, no,
horrible.
you don't want your DM to be a rules lawyer. You want your players to be a rules lawyer. That way, when the DM is trying to screw you, you can always get out of it by
Mhm.
you know what I mean? You can be like, well, technically, I can do this. And they're like, wait a second, I didn't know you could do that. And it's like it's right here on page 95 or whatever that this spell works this way. The other thing
Mhm.
you can do is you can try to get away with stuff that then they have to make a judgment call on. Like, okay, the shrink spell. How
Mhm. how does the shrink spell work?
Shrink,
Because the
shrink,
shrink spell.
shrink or enlarge, right? What
Yep.
basically would be you touch an item, and depending on the spell, and it would make it big or small, right? Well, how can I use it? Normally, you'd be like, I'm going to make this rat big, and then we're going to eat it for dinner or something. But
Yummy.
how can you utilize that in a
That's
role
called a
playing
possum.
sense? Well, what I would do is like we were being chased this one time, and there was a door, so I cast enlarge on the door, so it jammed in the door frame, and it was totally immovable. And
That's
they
awesome.
were like, "Oh, you can't do that." Then another time, I shrunk this dude's helmet so small it should have squished his head, but the game master was like, "Nah, it's gonna stop like when it hits his thing or whatever." And I was like, "Oh man!" And then
No.
later,
No.
I think they updated the spell in one
That's
of the books I read to where
boring.
that's what you couldn't like crush people's heads with it.
It makes
But
it makes me not want to wear a helmet.
but think about it, so you could, as the caster, you can kind of just visualize what it is you want to happen, and it kind of does for certain things. Or you can
Hmm.
make it so that this spell will affect all of the enemies, but not my friends, kind of deal.
Mhm.
Which is cool because then you can really use your
Well, this
imagination
week
for some
this
great
week in D&D. No, just kidding.
I'm
exactly.
sorry. I was just shouting out like I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
That's
derail
okay.
the stream.
That's
even
okay.
Next time we'll go into NASCAR and really derail it.
more.
Oh yeah.
That's when I just go.
The
"Meow,
exhilarating sport of going around in a circle.
Yeah.
meow."
Yep.
Well, guys, thanks for coming on. That was fun. That was, the D&D talk was fun too.
Yeah.
But
Well, the movie's great, and and it had like a big fat turkey in it. So it's good.
well, everybody, thanks for coming on. Thanks to the chat for hanging, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.